Yeah, good Wednesday afternoon. See if we can get us a shot of a water bomber. A proper wholesome use of aircraft. He hasn't come over the mountain horizon yet. Not sure where they're fighting. As you can see, the barium and aluminum salts have pretty well disappeared out of our atmosphere. But we know they'll put more in. Because it's about business, not amending the atmosphere for space weather purposes or Fukushima radiological fallout or any of that. There, we got them all together. Let's go have a quick boo on the horses. Oop, I guess I'm only on 40x, but that's okay. Yep. We're on optical zoom. My beautiful neighbors here. Let's try and do this a little less shaky. Hey, look at how they conveniently left the stuff that was a little too wet. It's a bit swampy there, right? Where did you get to? Somebody's in a very talkative mood. We'll see if we can get a conversation going once the wind goes with my voice instead of away from it. What my day to fuel up your petroleum needs there, BCers. Well, all of Canada, but in particular BCers. We both get fucked up the ass by the unauthorized HST. The biggest danger being, like the fact of getting screwed for more money is small. The fact is they've now set a precedent where they don't even have to seek the Legislative Assembly in BC to raise new taxes. Go figure, there's a first in Canada, eh? And it gets even sweeter. They use the Hegelian hyglectic and that old piece of crap, Bill Zanderzam, elected to come out of the old folks home. I don't know, they probably promised him some young virgin heart from China or something like that. But that's speculation. I won't go too far into the history of him and what he did for BC as one of the leading edge open global Zionists in Canada. Back in the late 80s, early 90s. ushered in the age of privatization. To his friends and accomplices, mainly. They're just, oddly enough, seem to be the major benefactors of all the assets and real estate that he, his social credits cleaved off of the public purse and into private hands for, you know, basically like anywhere from 10 cents to a penny on the dollar. So, there's the little story about harmonized sales tax instead of the old provincial and GST. And then, of course, I'll give you the spiel on the Canada's first carbon tax. Now, let me get my dates right here. Effective July 1st, Canada Day, 2007. That way, you know, it wouldn't make too much hype in the newspapers because they're all on their long weekend. Very strategic planning, you scamming criminals. That would be the BC, am I getting this right? The BC Liberal Party in 2007. Introduced the carbon tax. No big deal. It was only 2% the first year, plus 2% the next year, plus 4% the third year, plus, I believe, 4%, or was it 6% this year come July 1st. Not even going to get talking into how the money was wasted. The first big one being re-elect us. I've never seen a re-election campaign with little blurbs about the carbon tax because that's who paid for it. As they did with that pre-election campaign called Introducing the Carbon Tax. Oh, they are such shrewd cheating gainers, this batch of criminals that tricked a bunch of childish, foolish, I use the term loosely, adults into allegedly authorizing them through the democratic representative process known as anonymous voting. I, like everyone else, never actually counted the votes because I think they just probably, by and large, go into the garbage. And the decided vote, don't ask who decides, come out in their place and get counted and stored. And that's exactly what you get with that anonymous voting scam. Well, and coincidentally all other forms of representative democracy. What you need is a self-representation, such as proposed in my real Canadian democracy. Oh, nice lighting. Let's zoom in. You can see the two mountain ranges I keep telling everyone about. See, and the one in behind. Which is not just mountain ranges, but whole separate terrains. According to standard plate tectonics. Which most of it's rubbish, but some of it's valid. So there we have it. For the fight the climate change, we have an extra 12% on our fuel. I think the first year's take, as I said, was pretty well used up. Let's see, here's the beginning of our bus service. Had I had time, I would have started. I couldn't, so I encouraged as many people as I could to talk about it and expand it. Depending on hitchhiking, just doesn't cut it in 35 degrees Celsius. That's like 110 degree weather. Where you're going to do what? Oh, you're living in a tent with no real water, no real facilities, and you have to hitchhike or walk the 3 or 4 hours to your next migrant farm worker job. At least no passerbys decide to break the law and pick you up for hitchhiking and take you at least to the end of their route, if not all the way to your destination. So the second year, they wasted great globs of money on more of the BC Air Care, which is mainly a coastal thing. They don't enforce it throughout the province. They tried to and realized it was going to actually wipe out everyone in the logging industry, and I guess they weren't ready for that then. Didn't have one of their friends to swoop in and fill the gap. So year 2 of the climate change carbon tax was spent retrofitting a bunch of school buses that burn how much fuel? 40 gallons a day? 20 gallons a day? Yeah, the few diesel buses they have, they retrofitted them with carbon filters. And then, of course, had to service them because, well, particulate matters work in engines that were designed to have them. So, you know, and these were buses that were like, you know, 8 years old. At 10 years, you have to sell them. That's the way it doesn't used to be. I don't know if it's still that way. You have to take them out of school service. So, you know, 5, 8 grand a bus, whatever it worked out to. Of course, there were only 2 authorized brands. And then, of course, you have nothing but fucking heavies and want to get rid of the buses. So I think going for the shop mechanic because it was costing you like 10 times that, because, yeah, these work great on engines that were meant for them. Not on marginally more engines that, so instead of getting 10,000 or 20,000 kilometers, you get that 2,000 kilometers and the particulate filter is plugged up. Good. Coincidentally, you'll note a rash of those buses are been getting off by the school boards. The school boards, they can replace them. Not that there's money, because, well, you know, basically our economy got gutted for the fucking Olympics. The Winter Olympics, which was just another wealth transfer. I'm sure a couple of people got a little part-time work, probably not even enough to put them back on Pogie for 10 weeks. And of course, major real estate scams happened under that same money. Like the, what's it called? Stolen Creek, Hidden Creek, Scammers Creek, Catch Creek. Yeah, well, that atrocity in downtown Vancouver there. They apparently gutted the city's budget. Oh yeah, you're gonna make billions on that! Yeah, what did it end up costing? How many? Hundreds of millions? That alone, not the Olympics. The Olympics was billions and billions. Which, coincidentally, that's, again, a whole lot of carbon tax for climate change money got sunk into that. Starting with some ridiculous purchase of hydrogen buses running on the hydrogen Ballard fuel cell. 6 of them, to the tune of like 3.1 million a piece, and an operating budget of several million over their lifetime, which is like, what, 20 times what a normal bus costs. Okay, and here's the carbon saving feature. And you brought all your hydrogen in from Quebec. the far fucking end of the country, 2,000 miles plus away. Well, more than that. 2,800 miles away. That's like 4,800 in kilometers Canadians. Okay, so there went all that carbon tax climate change money. Yeah, I know you tried to divert a little of it into run-of-the-creek hydro generating stations privatized to, what? Your friends and associates in the globalization networks, as you could earn yourself points for when you finally got your scamming fucking ass kicked out of Canada just ahead of your arrest warrants, BC politicians, so you could go to wherever, Timbuktu, and become the president there under global Zionism. Tyranny and dictatorship, yeah. So, well, anyhow. We are going to try and make it out to a Canada Day event. If at all possible. Well, there you go. Okay, we've had a little look around. Just showing you how quickly, with a little bit of rain, how quickly there's very well mineral soiled patch of sand here. If you remember, go back a few, I'll put the link here, when it was all being plowed under. And look at how well it's regenerated with these yellow plants. These yellow plants, which obviously aren't the ideal, but and it was planted in winter rye, I believe, which was just tilled under. And why? Well, I try not to ask Dave too much questions. I would just love to know, but he's usually very busy and I don't know, that's just not his way. Not yet. Maybe if he had the resources, I'm sure. Oh, stop! I'm sure he would. See, guys? Back it up. No, back it up. Hang on, no!